Hello everyone and welcome to Code Culture. Today we're going to review the collaboration between Barbour and Crocs, which was really unexpected and it's very controversial. My name is Michele and I'm very passionate about all things coats and jackets. And if you're new here, consider subscribing because we have reviews of jackets pretty much every week. I have here all the products that are the results of this collaboration. The jacket, which is described as a modified Bedale jacket. I have the clogs, which are the classic Crocs clogs with a lot of Barbour styling thrown in. And then I have the boots. Now, I'm going to review all of these products with you today, and spoiler alert, I'm only going to keep the clogs. I am going to return both the jacket and the boots for different reasons. So stick around until the end to find out why. Now, when Barbour announced this collaboration last week, I was surprised to say the least. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of people were as surprised as I was. Crocs and Barbour are not two companies that you often put in the same sentence. Of course, Barbour has had many collaborations in the past, and we've actually reviewed one of them a couple of weeks ago, the one with J. Crew, and you can find the link on the screen right now. But Crocs is a little different. The reaction on social media was pretty strong, with some people absolutely loving the idea, some people hating it, and I was somewhere in the middle, so here we are. Crocs has an interesting history in American pop culture. Originally, they started as a cheap boating shoes in the early 2000s, but they didn't become super famous until 2005-2006. And that date is actually pretty important. I'm actually gonna come out and say it. I absolutely love Crocs. I've been a fan since the first time I saw them back in 2006. I remember I was living in Europe at the moment and I came to the United States for work in Florida, and I was walking in this mall and I see this stand with all these plastic shoes with very bright colors. I love bright colors like neon pink, neon green, neon blue, and they had all these shoes in these colors, and I thought that they were super comfy and very nice to the touch. So I bought 5 of them to give to a few of my friends back in Europe, and everybody thought that I was crazy because they were so ugly and stupid. But I liked them exactly because they were ugly and stupid. Now, fast forward to 2025, I'm still a fan of Crocs, and I have many Crocs. I have a pair to stay in the house in the winter, a pair to stay in the house in the summer, a pair to walk the dog, a pair to go to the gym, a pair to go to the beach, a pair to clean the garage. So you get the picture. I have many Crocs. However, I also am well aware of how stupid they look. And there is actually a funny story about the stupidity of Crocs. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the movie Idiocracy that came out in 2006. It tells the story of a dystopian future in which everybody in America has gotten really dumb.
It's got electrolytes.
What are electrolytes? Do you even know?
It's what they use to make Brondo.
Yeah, but why did they use them to make Brondo?
Because Brondo's got electrolytes.
And everybody in this future is wearing, you guessed it, Crocs. And there is a funny story about that. The filmmaker Mike Judge gave an interview a few years ago, and he explained that the costume designer for this movie had a very low budget. And so she went out and was looking for outfits that would be in line with the dumbness of the population as depicted in the movie. And she came across these boat shoes made of plastic, the Crocs, which were not really famous at the time, so she bought a ton of them. And if you watch the movie, you will notice that pretty much everybody is wearing Crocs. And the filmmaker apparently asked the custom designer, are you sure that these shoes are not going to become famous by the time the movie is done and is released? And her answer apparently was, oh, there is no way that these shoes can become famous because they are so ugly and stupid looking that there is no way they're going to be a success. Well, obviously she was wrong because the movie was shot between 2003 and 2004, and it was released in 2006. And in those 3 years, actually Crocs skyrocketed and they became a sensation to the point that now they are a $4 billion companies in revenue as of 2024. I don't know what it says about America, the fact that these shoes have become so popular, and I don't want to go there, but if you haven't watched the movie, watch it, definitely worth it.
Don't want to sound like a dick or nothing, but it says on your chart that you're fucked up. You talk like a fag, and your shit's all retarded.
Meanwhile, Barbour is a company that doesn't need much of an introduction. They have been in business since 1894, and their wax cotton jackets have been worn by pretty much everybody, from fishermen to military personnel, from motorcyclists to the royal family. So the question is, what happens when a company with a pedigree like Barbour meets a company with a very different pedigree such as Crocs? Well, let's go find out. First of all, let's talk about the jacket in this collaboration, which is the one I'm wearing right now. Barbour describes it as a jacket inspired by the Bedale model, which was launched originally in 1980. However, they point out that the fit of this jacket is very different. It's in fact presented as an oversized jacket. For reference, I normally wear a size 40 in American clothing and a size 50 in Italian. For this jacket, I'm wearing a medium, and as you can see, it actually fits me pretty big. My Beaufort is a size 40, my Ashby is a size L, and my Beacon Sport is a size L. The jacket is made with the classic 6-ounce wax cotton that Barbour uses for many of its jackets, including the Bedale. And the liner is made of 100% cotton, with the exception of the lower part, which is polyester, exactly like the Bedale jacket. The jacket comes with 9 Crocs Jibbitz that are these little things that you can put on the shoes, and in this case you can actually put them on this jacket. The left pocket has little holes where you can put these Jibbitz. Now, my jacket did not come with the Jibbitz. Barbour is supposed to send them to me separately. I also don't think that you should be putting the Jibbitz on this jacket unless you want to look like somebody out of the movie Idiocracy.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like...
But that's just my opinion. This jacket has some major differences compared to the original Bedale jacket. First of all, as you can notice, this jacket has lost its hand-warming pockets. It now has 2 extra large pockets on the chest. The left pocket has an extra piece of wax cotton on top of it to accommodate for those Jibbitz that I mentioned, that are all these little holes. However, they can also be used to hook something else. If you are a fisherman, I can see them being very helpful for you. It also has a little hook here under the left pocket. One of the nicest features of this jacket is the stowaway hood, which is stored in the oversized collar. Now, this hood is not made of wax cotton. It seems to be of some nylon or polyester material. And I think it's actually very handy, and I wish that Barbour used this design also in other jackets. Sometimes you just want something to cover your head in case of a sudden storm, and I think this is actually brilliant. Now, because the collar hosts this stowaway hood, it's actually much bigger than a regular collar on a Bedale. Another major difference is that the collar doesn't have the storm flap that the Bedale has, but it has these little straps here that allows you to fasten the collar. And by the way, this is the same design that is replicated on the clogs, and I think it's a nice touch. The fit, as I mentioned, is an oversized fit. As you can see, I almost swim in this medium, and so the fit is very different from the Bedale. Another major difference is in the cuffs that you will see are lined with the tartan liner, and they don't have the knit storm cuff that the Bedale has. Now, very important to me is that this jacket is not made in the UK. The Bedale is one of the few jackets that Barbour makes in the UK, And this one is not made in the UK. This one is made in Moldova, which is a country where Barbour makes many of its jackets, including, for instance, the Ashby. Now, I have no problem with the labor skills of people living in Moldova. My criticism is never about the quality of the craftsmanship of this country. However, let's be honest, the reason why Barbour is making its products in Moldova is to save money, because the labor cost of Moldova is much, much cheaper than the labor cost in the UK. And the problem is that these savings are definitely not passed on to the consumer. And in this case, in particular, I think it's outrageous, because this jacket made in Moldova cost $650, whereas the Bedale jacket made in the UK cost $415. Make it make sense. Another major difference compared to the Bedale is the sizing system. The Bedale jacket is sized in numbers, like 36, 38, 40. This jacket is sized like the Ashby in leather. So you have the small, medium, large. Again, this is a sign that this is a jacket made in a cheaper way. If you've ever been to an outlet of Barbour, there are a few here in the United States. I'm not sure if this is the same in the UK, but definitely in the United States, you can find Bedale jackets that are made in Moldova, that are not made in the UK. So my feeling is that this is the same jacket that they made for their, let's call it, B line. But I may be completely wrong, but the fact remains that the sizing is different. Let's just leave it at that. Now let's look at the features of these jackets, because there are a few things that I really, really like and that I wish that Barbour replicated in other jackets, and there are other things that I really do not like. So let's start with the positive. One of the things that I really, really like is the color combo of this jacket. You can see that it's the classic sage, which you can find in also the classic Bedale jacket, but towards the bottom of the jacket you have this dark tartan color, which is really difficult to see in the photos that Barbour put out. I wish that there were more jackets like this. I also really like the corduroy that Barbour has put on the flaps of this jacket. Of course, it could be a little more problematic from a waterproofness point of view, but I don't think that's a big issue. I also like the color of the studs of this jacket. They are a very dark green, almost like the clogs, the Crocs clogs. The corduroy is the classic corduroy that you find in other Barbour jackets. It's very pleasant to the touch. And as I mentioned, I absolutely love the collar. I think the collar with the stowaway hood, it's really a nice idea. And as I said, I wish it was used by Barbour in more jackets. Now let's look at the things that I don't like about this jacket. First of all, I don't like the oversized fit of this jacket. It's not a problem specific to the jacket, I just don't like oversized jackets. So it's not this jacket's fault, but the fit is not my favorite. I don't think it's very flattering on me specifically, and I'm the one who needs to wear the jacket. Another thing that I really do not like is the big logo that they've put in the back. This Barbour Crocs logo in the back of the jacket cheapens the jacket dramatically. It makes it look like a cheap imitation out of a Chinese sweatshop. I really do not understand why they've done it. I don't think it works. I think the same logo as they've used it on the clogs and on the boots actually works very well. But on the jacket, having that logo so big in the back, I think it's a mistake. I wish that Barbour had done something different, perhaps like a different liner. They could have worked on the liner and have a Crocs themed liner, which could have been something more exclusive and less cheap, because this big polyester logo just doesn't work for me. And finally, the price. I know I've already mentioned it, but $650? Really, Barbour? Really? $650? For a jacket born out of a collaboration with a company that is famous for cheap plastic shoes?
Right. Kick ass.
$650. I just don't get it. I think it's outrageous. I think it's offensive. I think it just makes it impossible for anybody to like this jacket unless they are right out of the movie Idiocracy.
I'm not sure if...
You have entered the name Not Sure. Is this correct? Not Sure.
No, it's not correct.
Thank you. Not is correct. Is sure correct?
I'm not going to say that this collaboration with the jacket doesn't work because the product is actually nice. What does not work is the pricing of this product, because I'm looking at other collaborations that Barbour has on their website with famous designers, and they're priced cheaper than this jacket. So I do not understand what possessed Barbour in pushing them to price a collaboration with Crocs at this price. So if the question is this jacket worth it? The answer, as far as I'm concerned, is absolutely not. It's not worth it. I don't think you should buy it. I'm going to return it. You're definitely better off buying a Barbour Bedale for $415 and then buying a regular pair of Crocs for $50. Then you spend $465 and you still have a couple of $100 left in your bank account. However, I do think that the collaboration and the pricing work very well as far as the footwear is concerned. Now let's look at the footwear, and let's start with the clogs, which is really where this collaboration shines as far as I'm concerned. I gotta be honest, I really like these clogs and I'm definitely going to keep them. First of all, they come in this very nice box, which has this tartan print with a big logo Barbour Crocs. And the same tartan print that is on the box is also replicated on top of these clogs. These are regular dark green clogs with this tartan print on top. But what makes them really special and what makes me really like them are all these accents in wax cotton that they have added to the shoe. They even have this kind of belt on top, which is absolutely useless. It doesn't do anything, but I really think it looks very nice. Now, you will notice that these wax cotton elements that are on the shoe are actually sewn into. And you can see the sewing inside the shoe. So pretty resistant. I think they won't go anywhere, but we'll see. You can see that the strap is made of the same corduroy that is used on the jacket, which is very pleasant to the touch. The strap is adjustable, unlike the strap on the regular Crocs. And you'll see the logo Barbour Crocs twice on the shoes. Once on the strap here and also inside. Now, the clogs come with 6 Jibbitz. That are these little things here that you can put in the hole of the Crocs. Now, whereas for the jacket, I think that the Jibbitz are too much, and I really think you look like somebody out of the movie Idiocracy if you put them on your jacket.
There are plenty of tards out there living really kick-ass lives.
For the shoes, I think they work. Now, the clogs and the boots only come with 6 Jibbitz, not 9 like the jacket, but 6 is plenty. You can remove them if you don't like them, but I really think it works. In terms of sizing, I am a size 43/9.5/10 in dress shoes, 11 in Vans or Nike or Adidas, and I've ordered the 11 and they work perfectly. On your feet, these are classic Crocs. There is nothing different from any other Croc, so they are as comfortable as the other Crocs. If you have another pair of Crocs already and you are interested in purchasing one of these, just go with your regular size and you'll be fine. However, the problem is that the clogs at the moment are completely sold out, both the clogs and the boots. So the clogs costed $80, which is a lot of money for a pair of plastic shoes, and it's almost double what normally a pair of Crocs cost. I think that considering the extras that you have on these Crocs compared to other Crocs, the price is justified. I mean, justified if you are a Crocs aficionado, otherwise they're plastic shoes. But if you are a Crocs aficionado, if you like Crocs, the price is not as outrageous as the price for the jacket. So I am definitely looking forward to using them this summer, and I have no plan whatsoever to return them. If you can snatch a pair, try and get them. They're worth it, I think. Now let's have a look at the boots. Now, the boots were the piece that I was most excited about when this collaboration was announced, because I've been looking for a pair of rain boots for quite some time, and I thought that this would be fun. However, they're a little bit of a disappointment. There are none of the fun details that you have on the clogs. They don't have any wax cotton, they don't have any extra. This is just a classic Crocs boot with the tartan print on top. I think they look very nice, and I actually like them, but there is nothing really special other than the tartan print. You do have the logo right here in the front, and you do have the 6 Jibbitz that you can put on the top of the boot. I think the label, the Crocs Barbour label on the boots work the best. I think they've integrated it very well. I wish they had done the same for the jacket. However, the problem is that these boots are gigantic on my feet. I took the same size I took for the clogs, size 11, and they're at least 2 sizes too big. So I would love to exchange them, but I can't because they are completely sold out. These cost $90, which for the price, they're not bad. Although for $100, you can buy the Barbour Nimbus boots, which are proper rain boots. So I'm not sure if they're worth the money. I would keep them if there was a way for me to exchange them, but there isn't since they are sold out. So actually, if anybody is interested and they want a size 11, leave me a comment below because I'm more than willing to sell them to you. As I said, they are $90 and you can't find them on the website. So what's the verdict? Well, as I said, for me, this jacket is outrageously expensive for what it is. Had they priced this jacket at $450 or $500, which is still more than the original Bedale jacket, I would have said go for it, because there are some features that are actually pretty nice and that I really enjoy. However, $650 tells me that Barbour thinks that its customers are as stupid as the people in the movie Idiocracy.
He tried taking water from toilets, but its secretary not sure who finds himself in the toilet now.
Because honestly, I do not understand what the thinking is behind the pricing of this product. You are making a collaboration with a company that is renowned for their cheap plastic shoes, and you're charging $650 for a jacket made in Moldova, i.e. a jacket that is less expensive for you to manufacture than the Bedale jacket you manufacture in the UK.
What I do is just like you know, you know what I mean? Like,
As far as I'm concerned, there is a limit to the greed that I'm willing to endure from a company. And I think that with this jacket in particular, Barbour has passed that line. However, my opinion is very different if we are talking about the footwear. I think the footwear is where this collaboration makes a lot of sense. I wish that the sizing of the boots had been consistent with the sizes of the clogs, so I would have kept both. But other than that, I would say that the shoes are actually really worth it. So if you find them, if they become available again, or you can find them at a decent price on eBay, I would say go for it. Now, what do you think of this collaboration? Did you like the fact that Barbour did these things with Crocs? Do you like the jacket? Do you like the shoes? Are you planning on getting them? Would you get them if they were still available? Or do you think that this is complete nonsense and that Barbour should not waste their time talking to companies like Crocs? Well, let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you again soon.